Mr. Carl Fischer.
What's going on? I'm already smiling and laughing because I got one of my friends here. My one and only friend is here. No, actually, I have two friends. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday Night Hang. We appreciate everybody coming out. Actually, you don't have to go anywhere. What do you mean coming out? You're sitting in front of your computers and TVs. I appreciate you doing it, though. It's very nice. But we wish for the days when we can all come out sooner. Hopefully, it will happen sooner than later. But I just wanted to say hello and welcome you to the Hang. Tonight we have a wonderful friend of mine and great guitar player and producer, Tommy Byrnes, is going to join us here in about 10 minutes. But in the meantime, say hello to my friend, my sidekick from LaGrange, Illinois, which is very close to Chicago. Let's say hello to Stephen Wright.
How's it going, everybody? What's up on this Tuesday? Not you?
Not me. I mean, I'm just trying to hang on tonight for some reason. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure Tommy will keep us on our toes.
Oh, he's already, we had to get on a little earlier. Steven does a pre-production thing. So basically, Steven's running the feed from LaGrange. And actually, talk to him really quick. It's based off of Zoom, but you got some other things going on, or how do you make this happen, man? I always mean to ask you this, but it's kind of interesting.
So basically, I use Zoom like if it was multiple cameramen. So, you are where you are, Tommy is where he is, I'm where I am, and each individual person is a camera. And then I pull it all into a broadcast software and add overlays and all kinds of interesting, fun little things that hopefully don't crash the stream.
Yeah. Well, we only crashed, this is our 16th episode. This is episode 6 of season 2. And we only crashed about 18 times.
Hey.
So I think we're doing
If
good.
you're
18 out of 16,
Yeah.
I'm kidding you. No, I think we only crashed 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
right?
I mean we're learning this, so I have no problems with admitting that I'm still learning how to do this stuff.
Nah, you're doing good, man.
We've had a good time with
Great,
it.
and no, we have a good time. Absolutely. Speaking of good times, man, we had a great time last week. Appreciate you doing that. Last week was interesting because I had my new band called T.Ë.T.I in the studio. We did a live studio performance last week. We appreciate everybody that came by. Everybody that came by and hung out with us. We played about 5 tunes with the T.Ë.T.I band, and it worked out good. We thank All Access Recording, Mike MacArthur and Doug Johnson and Ronnie D. And you definitely made it happen, Steven. That was interesting. I think I dropped my internet connection, so that was kind of a drag. But
Hey, we got back.
appreciate it. We got back. That's the main thing.
No, but it was cool because it was a first time that the band has been able to get together, since everything happened. So it was kind of a cool little vibe, even at 6 feet apart.
Yeah, social distance, right? And actually, that's one of the reasons why we don't play here on these feeds normally. Like Tommy and I were talking about trying to play tonight, but there's just so much latency with internet and Zoom and different restream programs. It's better to kind of have everybody in a studio so you can't blame anybody if you're late on something. There's no latency issues. So, we're going to do that. We're probably going to do another live feed. Steven, we're talking about maybe doing another one in about 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, be a good time.
We'll keep everybody, we'll keep everybody informed of what's going on. And we really appreciate the support you guys gave us too, and the donors gave us some nice donations to the band. So those guys were very happy. We all went out and had a good time after. Well, we didn't go after, but there will be a good time had. So we appreciate the donations. That went a long way for everybody, and we appreciate you guys supporting the music and the hang. So
yeah, it'd be a good time. And if you guys want to keep up on, when we're going to do that again, you can follow along on Carl's Facebook page or subscribe to YouTube. We send out notifications every time we go live. So, and then we always do the hang same time every Tuesday. So you can always find us here, as the regular crowd can tell you.
Well, as the regular, it's funny because my iWatch just beeped and it said that I've achieved my activity goal, and I've been sitting for the last 2 hours. So what kind of activity is that? Come on. Technology.
Yep.
Well, technology is great. It's kind of bringing us all together. And speaking of bringing all together, this gentleman who's going to be on here in a second has been responsible for a multitude of musicians working. He's kept all his friends and compadres working for years. And without Tommy, I wouldn't be employed for the last 20 years. He's been nothing but gracious and forthcoming with not only his friendships but his work environment, and he's just a positive guy to be around and a fun guy. So I'm just going to hit a couple things. A lot of people don't really know. They know of Tommy with the Billy thing, but Tommy has such a great career, man. I always like to talk about things. I learn as we go along too, and I'm sure Tommy's going to school me on some things. But around 1981, he had a Long Island band called the BMTs, which is very cool, and he brought them to live and play in London. And I remember, if I'm correct, they hooked up with Bo Diddley, and I actually did a recording with Bo. They did a track with Bo and recorded a tune. So I remember talking to Tommy throughout the years, and being a kid going over to London. So I'm going to hit him with some of those questions. Then he goes back to New York, and Tommy's a Long Island guy like myself, and another Long Island guy, wonderful Brian Setzer, used to come in and hang out and sit in with Tommy with the BMTs. Just kind of developed to a relationship, and Tommy got the gig with the Stray Cats with Brian. So that was another thing that I don't know if people are aware of. I think that's Tommy's finger picking, and that genre of that rockabilly stuff is just, man, there's some great YouTube stuff going around. It's been going around for years. Tommy at Cano's Swiss Tavern, finger picking some stuff. Guy's just a monster. So, I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that gig with the Stray Cats. Shortly after that, you're going to go back to Long Island again. You're going to run into another Long Island girl now, Taylor Dane. He goes out with Taylor Dane for a year, supporting her tour and record. So that was kind of cool. I got to meet Taylor a few times through Tommy and throughout the years, and kind of a cool little Long Island thing. And back from when he was out of that tour with Taylor, a very thing that's close to me because I grew up in the town next door and lived in Freeport for a long time. Tommy's playing a Freeport boat show with a band, and the man that changed, as Tommy said, I'm quoting Tommy, the man that changed Tommy's life was wonderful Brian Ruggles. He met Brian Ruggles at the Freeport boat show. For people who are not Billy-centric on this site, Brian Ruggles is longtime engineer for Mr. Billy Joel, and he's also just the kind of the general ears of the band. So, Brian and Tommy hooked up, and Brian was very interested in having Tommy and Billy meet. And, basically Tommy jumped on that Stormfront tour. So that was Tommy's kind of thing out of Freeport. It's all running all through this Long Island thing. It's very cool. So, again, the Long Island theme, you go back, you finish the tour up and you come home and you're on to another Long Island icon, the wonderful hard-rocking Joan Jett. Asked Tommy to go out for a year. He did a year supporting her record and touring with her for years. And, he gets back from that, and Billy is starting to write and record River of Dreams. And, of course, Tommy was involved with that and did a record and tour for that. And then, you kind of fast forward to the face tours with Elton and Billy, and in 2001, actually 2000, but in 2001 I got to meet Tommy because Tommy was the music director of the Broadway show Moving Out, which is Billy Joel's Broadway show. Twyla Tharp was the choreographer on that, and that was on Broadway. And that's where I kind of met Tommy. It was a sub, and then eventually Tommy I was fortunate enough to have Tommy ask me to become principal, so I was the principal of that. And then you fast forward, we did the 12 Gardens live show and recordings, live show at the Garden 2005 and 2006. And, the present day, there's been so many great memories I have with this gentleman. But, one of the things that is really amazing to me is any genre of music that Tommy hears, he could play. He has knowledge of it. He plays any style convincingly, and his personality when he plays, it's just pure Tommy. When he plays, that's Tommy Byrnes, man. It's any style, any genre, he just nails it, and he makes it his own. And he makes it look easy, which is, that's a true sign of a master, making things look easy. Whether it be a tune he's never played or a tune he's played 1,000 times, it always still has a vibe and passion and soul that comes out. So it's amazing to me hearing Tommy do these things throughout the years. And as Tommy's career direction has arced, and he's very steeped. He was very steeped in the Long Island tradition and New York City. He just loves going out and playing, and he's cultivated the same model that has got him those gigs. He always pays these gigs forward, like I was saying before, and he's done it countless of times to a million musicians. Like I said, he's shaped my career, but I can't tell you how many guys have been under the tutelage of Tommy Byrnes. So. Both as a producer, music director, guitar player, and vocalist, the example Tommy sets and his exact words I've seen him live by is, let's just work together, play some music. He's handpicked many musicians for work, whether it be Broadway shows, recording, touring, whether it be moving out. Just he's got a lot of insight. He also recommends guys that will make the band sound great and make himself look good, he said. However, as a great coach with any team, Tommy knows how and what to do to get the most out of a musician. So he has a keen sense of how to make good music and how personalities can kind of all get along. And obviously the best part is he has a great time doing it. So, without further ado, my Long Island buddy, how about a hand for Mr. Tommy Byrnes? Welcome, Tommy. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Carl. Can you hear me?
What's happening, man?
Oh, man, after that introduction, I'm exhausted.
Those are all.
I'm tired now.
Those are all the words I learned today. I don't even know what objective means.
98 degrees up here, and I'm sweating. That's good, man. How you doing? You look beautiful. I haven't seen you in so long. God, I miss you, bro.
I miss you too, brother. It's been.
And I really do.
Was it Mexico? Was the last time we hung out?
Mexico was the last town gig we did outside the U.S. and
yeah,
the last gig we did was I think the Garden on February 21st.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
I think so, because I know
right.
my daughter showed up at the hotel bar afterwards, like because she lives around the block. Hi, Daddy. Can we have a glass of wine? Yes, we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I forgot we did the Garden.
So good, man. So good. I haven't seen anybody in so long, and I miss everybody so much. It's a good thing to know how much you love people when you miss them so much, but it's difficult to realize. I did a gig with Mike.
Okay.
With Mike Daljudas the other day, and it was on the other side of Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
The other side of Pittsburgh, what's there? I don't know. Ohio? Whatever. It was the other side of Pittsburgh, and I drove there, and we did a gig in front of 45 people in a backyard that was the size of a golf course. Really? So there was plenty of spread, and it was fantastic just to be with other people and play music live again. And I looked at Mike, and I looked at some of the guys who were on the gig, the horn players, and they're better than I do. So
was it Ed Leone and Jason Chapman and
Bob Cutts and the boys, and just to look at them and go, it's been so long. This is the longest time in my life, 5 months that I've ever gone since I'm 14 years old, where I didn't play a gig, one gig. And I gotta tell you, bro, my hands hurt so bad. I was crying like a little baby. After, like, oh no, no more bends. There'll be none of that. No nonsense. No showing off.
Wow.
Anyway, it was nice to play with musicians again, and great musicians.
Sure.
Really great musicians. Sorrentino and Carmine and all boys.
Great guys. Great
Just
musicians.
the greatest.
Well, that's cool. I know, man. We played last week for the first time with my little T.Ë.T.I band, and Tommy, I tell you, it took me a week.
Good, right?
Like, it felt good, but it took me a week to like be able to play 5 minutes long. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play 5 whole minutes now, maybe 6 minutes the next day. I was shot. It killed me. I played 5 tunes. I was done.
But Carl, you're a different kind of musician than me. You're like a somewhat trained musician that doesn't want to make himself look silly. I'm not, and I don't care. So, when all I knew was I was in pain, and it probably looked silly because it hurt like that. But I'm sure it was great. It's just great. As you know, I'm sure you felt the same way I did. It was just great playing with these guys. I sent Mike a text just like, dude, you know what? It's been so long, and I'm just in awe of your talent. And stand on stage with Mike Del Giudice, and it's just like, there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah.
He opens his mouth, he sings,
plays anything.
Whoa, okay, so that's how it goes. He
Yep. Yeah,
he covers the rest of it better than most people ever could.
Yeah, man.
It's just incredible. So it was fun, and the full-on horn section butchering Chicago songs. You would have loved it. I mean, Saturday in the Park.
It was like Sunday in the Park instead.
Like Saturday in the Park. Whatever.
Oh God.
Anyway, cool. I miss you too, bro. I haven't seen you in so long. People don't realize that. You called me last week and asked me to, come and talk to me on the whatever the hell this is. The youth.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Steven knows what it is. Whatever the hell.
I know. Steven's brilliant. That's nice.
He's smart.
Yeah. Steven, I'm not the one laughing. I think you.
Don't worry, I'm in control of the pictures. Don't worry.
It's great. It's great to see you. It's great to talk to you. You look like like a newscaster or something.
Well, it's the microphone. It's a microphone and a clean shirt. I combed my hair today for you, Tommy.
Well, I saw that you had combed your hair, and I combed what I had left, and I embraced my COVID-15, which is like COVID-18 pounds I gained, and I don't care, whatever.
It is what it is. We're cooped up,
Yeah.
Like you said, the social thing. You're not going out and playing, and that's part of our being. That's what we do, and so not having that, it's like losing your left arm, man. It's
crazy. Dude, I'm doing plenty of work around here. I'm like cleaning up stuff. I'm pushing mowers and riding on things and doing stuff.
Doing the Italian gardener thing? Are you doing the Italian gardener?
Absolutely, but I'm also like, the Italian cook.
Yeah.
I want to have steak 4 times this week. I'm going to have it.
Good for you. Good, man.
The fatty? No, it ain't that. It's a weird thing. It's a hard way to live right now, but it's not as hard as some people have it. And I am completely blessed as you are because of Boston. That's what I'm going to say about that.
The loyalty he has is just unheard of.
What a great moment we have because of him through this. But as people suffer, you have to feel for them. You really, and I do. I don't know what else to say. There's no other way to put it. Everything came to a standstill, and there were so many hearts were broken.
Yeah,
so many plans
broken. Yeah.
So many things just happened to so many people that weren't fair.
Yeah.
When you have kids, or my kids, they're 28 and 30 years old, and they go, it's like, so I'll remember this year. I don't remember a year of absolute, it sucked.
Yeah.
We're nothing, but I do remember having, my older brother was, several years of where it sucked when he was in the army. You know, he's a lot older than me.
Sure.
You know, and,
Yeah.
so there's that stuff, and you just try and kind of comprehend this. Is this something that is a necessity for every generation to live through? Something that has to be
Some
there
turmoil,
to raise you, to smack you into life, to let you know
reality.
lucky you are. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, we're blessed. We are blessed.
but like, we've been lucky.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
we've seen it, but you know, we didn't have to live it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're fortunate.
God bless those guys who did. Anyway, what else you got?
No, that's great. I mean, you just hit on something that I want to touch on. I mean, remember talking to you for years about your older brother, and I know he got you into play. He was very instrumental in your playing, right? Did he start you?
Instrumental wouldn't be the word I would use.
Well, yeah, you got to smack him with the ruler a few times, you know.
He brought in some music.
No, he didn't push it on you.
No, he were playing instruments, you know. No, I was in a band with my brother Eddie. He's 8 years older than me. But you know, my brother John brought in music to my house, like just the most incredible stuff. My sister brought in incredible stuff. So they're 13 to 12 years older than me. So now you get Simon and Garfunkel, and you get 1, 2, 3, ba-da-da-da. You get Len Barry, you get all this stuff. You get Frankie Valli.
Sure.
You just get so much great writing and great music. Now it's up to you to decipher it. It's not coming in like 1,000 records a month. It's like, you know, 2 records a month. There's a couple of record companies, and it's like, so you get a record called like Tapestry, and you listen to it, and you go, Carole King is the greatest writer that ever lived. And then you get a record called Bookends, and you go, oh my God, Paul Simon is the greatest writer that ever lived. And you think they might be related, maybe the same person, you know, like Bogart or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You keep following on this track, and then you get 10 Years After and Jimi Hendrix, and you get Lee Michaels, and then you get rock and roll, then you get later 60s where it was almost like
came together.
Something changed so drastically to where it was brought in on a level playing field through clever bands that were like soul bands, like Young Rascals, stuff like that, and you just went, wow, these are great songs. They're not offensive, you know. And then they led the way to these great songs that were offensive. We all loved, you know.
Yeah, man.
Purple Haze, you know. I don't know why that was offensive. I don't even know what the hell it meant. I was 8.
Yeah.
Purple Haze. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I like some Purple Haze. I'm 8. Is it like grape knee high? I don't know what the fuck it is.
Is it grapefruit juice? What is it? Purple Haze. What is it? Yeah. Blueberries? Oh my God. No, it's so you always had good records from your siblings. So that was the thing, man. I remember like listening to the Monkees. Herman Thomas. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter, lovely daughter. My sister had one of those record players that you opened up and you dropped the needle on. You played a 45. I listened to this thing so many times, and I remember I was like 5 years old, and I lost it in my pants and had to run up to the bathroom because I couldn't stop listening to Mrs. Brown, which is funny that the name of the song is Mrs. Brown. Yeah, maybe it was a subconscious thing.
Wow, speaking of Mrs. Brown, I better run upstairs.
I'll raise my hand. I'm going to go now. Oh, that's great, man. So you're listening to these records, though. Did you have I know you play great piano. Was the first thing, did you run into your piano, or did you have a guitar? What was your first instrument?
Oh man, no. Piano came along later.
Really?
Yeah, there were guitars in my house, and so my oldest brother John had guys that would come over the house, and they'd be like local dudes, you know, with like bongos and shit.
Yeah.
And they would try and sing and play like as I said, like, Simon and Garfunkel songs or Donovan songs is shit from early 60s and stuff. I can't remember any of it because they sucked.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Was it?
But to me, it was the greatest sounding thing I ever heard.
Because that's all you knew.
At that point, I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old. And then you put me to like where I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old. And my other brother, Eddie, who now he had a band.
Okay.
That rehearsed in the house. And now that was on. Now they're playing Santana.
Man.
And I can't remember if they were any good, but to me they were great.
Yeah, because
but they left their equipment in the basement.
My dad had the same thing. My dad rehearsed his band in the basement, and you go downstairs, right, and you play. You end up playing every instrument.
Whole rig. There's a rig. There's a drum set. There's a Farfisa organ and a Leslie.
Totally.
Which sounds like a Farfisa organ and a Leslie, but you can get the
exactly.
Get that out of it.
It's funny you say this. I got to interrupt.
So what do? You abuse it until your older brother comes home. You're 10 and he's 18 or 19, and he wants to smack the crap out of you for messing around with it. And you go, but
I just want to be like you.
Well, it was only a matter of time before it was like, but I'm better than everybody in your band. And it was only a matter of time before my brother said, my brother's better than everybody in our band. I was very lucky like that. And I'm sure you feel the same way, Carl. There was a blessing that came around like the age of 14.
Yeah.
Where when you played, people listened.
Yeah.
And all you wanted was for your instrument to take you out of where you were.
Yes, sir.
Very difficult moment in your life when you're that age, freshman in high school, and all you want is for that instrument to get you out of that moment and give you the opportunity to become what you can become, what you think you can become.
That's why we have a lot in common. We talked about this for years. It was our release. I don't know if it was a Long Island thing and the basement thing. And, it's ironic because we had Andy on the show, Sashan, a bass player with Billy, a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying the same thing. Sure. He was saying he had the Farfisa organ too, and I still got the Farfisa in my closet. I'm like,
does everybody have to say Farfisa?
I was like, how many were there? And they sounded horrible too. I mean, they were horrible.
And Andy's a fantastic musician. And when I tell people about the musicians in Billy's band, there were no one-trick ponies. There were severe people that will tell you what you're doing wrong, and there are other people that can play everything. The severe people that will tell you what you're doing wrong, you're going to be right, and Crystal, who just doesn't matter what you're doing, it's wrong.
Come on, I don't tell anybody what to do.
My favorite,
blow on things.
Favorite people in the world. I love Crystal so much. If she's watching, Crystal, I love you. I hope you're doing well. I miss you so much.
Yes.
Mark Rivera. Oh my God, I haven't seen anybody in so long.
The family's not together. It's a drag.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And it's difficult. It's difficult also to reach out to certain people. Yeah. To really reach out to them and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," because I don't want to talk to you. I want to share a moment with you.
Yeah, I want
to get on stage with you in front of 20,000 people, and I'll give you this, and I want to tell you, hey, man, yeah, you crushed it. In as much as the same way with Billy, it's the same thing. Our relationship is all about what we do when we're together. There's nothing to do with like having lunch.
No, we do good eating lunch on our own.
Does anybody want to have lunch? I don't know.
I like lunch.
Getting on, Carl, here's what you think. You think that fucking getting on stage with somebody would be an awkward moment. No. Getting on stage with people like you and Mark and Crystal and Andy and David and Doug and who the hell else is in a freaking band? Del Juice, and if I'm missing anybody, well, maybe I'm.
I think you got it.
I got right.
And Andy
That
and Chuck.
worked out, you know. But if I have to go to lunch with you, I'm completely I'm not going to be cooperative.
No,
I don't even want to be there.
We'll go to the bar though. We can go to the bar.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But I can't have a gig in my room that's going to be great. That I need all you guys for.
Yeah.
So for lunch, stay the fuck in your room.
Yeah. Well, it's the release. It's the release. Like we were saying when you were a kid, it's the same release. You know?
I don't even want to know about that for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, yeah, we don't have any fun, you know, not at all. Speaking of which, what's that, bro?
I miss you, bro.
I know it's been way too long, Tommy. I miss you too. Is Steven? Do we lose Steven? We have any people here even listening to us tonight?
No, Steven quit.
Yeah, I quit. I'm out of here. We got quite a little crowd hanging out with us. Bunch of questions stacking up already.
Oh, nice. We'll lie to you.
You guys will make something up, right?
What's a little crowd?
Right now we've got.
I don't have this kind of Carl. You know, I don't have this kind of thing going on in my life. So if I'm doing this with you, you know who knows about it? You.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
I know. I love it. Hey man, I appreciate you doing it. You know, and you know what's funny is this has been my outlet. Steven and I look forward to doing this every week.
And I told my wife, I said, it's probably going to be the most I ever talked to Carl in my life.
Except for after the gig. Late night. We've had some good hangs.
And you can have any story coming to you. What would you like to hear? Well, you got questions from somebody? Go on.
Yeah, we got Steven. Hit us with a few hellos and all that good stuff.
Got a bunch of people hanging out. The first question that came in was a couple people checking in from London, asking if you have any specific stories about your time there. Yeah.
BMT.
Yes. Oh, from the BMT days?
Cool.
Yeah, well, okay, so
awesome.
There was a place we used to play called Dingwalls, which was in Camden Town. You know, it's difficult because I can't confirm that they're saying, "Oh yeah, I know what Dingwalls was." It is in a town called Camden Town. I lived in a house. I guess it was like a coach house on Wavell Mews in West Hampstead.
Oh, wow.
For a couple of years. And it was the most fantastic time I ever had in my life. I was probably 17 to 18 years old. And I loved it. But we used to play at Dingwalls all the time. That's where we met Bo Diddley. And the man named Boss, the name, ran Dingwalls. A man named Andy Michaels, who used to work for the Stray Cats, who knew who we were. This is all before I joined the Stray Cats.
Oh, wow.
He took us into his apartment and let us live there for like 8 months while we got the tour with Bo Diddley. He bought what we called a little bus, which was a camper. It was disgusting, but we drove up and down the M1 from like Payton to Aberdeen, Scotland, and played every city from, you know, like Liverpool and you know, Glasgow, whatever, name them. Every college town. Fantastic. I don't remember most of them, but I think I saved an itinerary. It was like 1982. You remember 1982, Carl? Well, how old are you? 8? You were probably still very
old. I was 11 years old.
I was drinking Newcastle Brown Ale in the back of a bus with no lights, with a candle, trying to write letters back to my mom, who was still alive. Saying, "I'm working with Bo Diddley. Isn't that great?" She was probably saying, "What the hell are you doing with your life?"
Yeah.
Bo was the greatest in the world. Greatest guy. Absolutely. He was so sweet. He told the greatest stories, man. He was the guy that you wanted to meet, you know? That was the guy that was all you needed to do, was to meet Bo Diddley, and you knew that you could be okay in this business.
All right.
Right? Because you weren't going to meet Billy Joel. You weren't going to meet Elton John.
Sure.
But in our day, you might have met Chuck Berry, you might have met Bo Diddley, you might have met
Sam Moore,
but you might have ended up in their band because they weren't commanding the kind of the gig wasn't that big. You could get hired by guys like that.
Yes,
you know, and just for maybe 3 or 4 gigs, you know. But we got that leg in his entire UK tour and did like 35 gigs with them. And when you meet a guy like that, that changes their life because he was really good, man. The dude was incredibly talented. Yeah. He would break a string every night. Why? Because he never changed them. And he would sing opera while he was changing his strings. And he would change the string and he would tune it wrong. And it would be horrible. And he would just go, jump, 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 jump. I got it.
And you grab it from him.
Unbelievable. He was just the first most fantastic guy I ever met. Brian Setzer being the second most fantastic guy I ever met as far as the music industry. As far as, good Lord, Carl, can you imagine anybody having patience for me? Rock stars, Bo Diddley, legends, rock stars like Brian Setzer. These people had patience for me.
Yeah, but they knew.
I can't even imagine how or why they did.
They heard what was coming.
I was obnoxious. I was loud. I was a maniac.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of still am. And Billy Joel still has patience for me. No, if you were here, I'd smack your hand.
I'd smack you. No, you know, I mean, it's amazing how people do change your life. And like you said, you know, so the level of Elton or Billy or, you know, anybody on that stature, you're not going to be able to play with those bands. So for me, it was like guys like Sam Moore playing in Sam's band. And
hell yeah! Can you imagine? Yeah. Now here's the thing: can you imagine singing like him? No. He's not a trumpet player, dude.
No.
So like I play a Billy. I'm a guitar player and a piano player's band. I freaking get it, you know.
Yeah.
But I have so many wonderful stories about so many people that I've met.
Yeah.
That were really good people, really honestly good people. You know, walking by on a face-to-face tour, walking by Elton's trailer, right? And he opens his trailer and he's a bit frustrated because his piano was only making one noise. And something happened. And he looked at me and he said, Tommy, you know, he had been on the road for a while. And I'm like, oh my God, John knows my name. Elton John knows my name. So I go, what can I do? And he goes, do you know anything about these keyboards? They gave me a keyboard in my trailer and Tim Rice is here. So they were writing Aida.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I walk in, I think it was that, whatever. Anyway,
one of those Aidas.
I walk in, I go, usually what happens is it works pretty good. If you turn the thing off and you turn it back on, it comes back as a piano. It came back as a piano. He looked at me and he called me a bloody Yank. That's when you know, we had already been on the road for a while, and I knew I was like, this is the greatest, funniest man I'll ever meet.
He was charming, man. He was a charming guy.
Elton was great. And he looked at me and he said, would you like to hear a song? And he played a song that he had just written with Tim for a new show. And I was like, yeah. And he gave me a very big hint as to how to write something when you're caught up. You're not quite sure how to write.
Wow.
And I'm not going to tell you on the air right now, but it's if you go to church enough, you get the idea, because that's where he went for a lot of
the cadences,
inspiration and melodies, and I was not surprised knowing his music. I was absolutely just, well, that explains a lot. How beautiful, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and I was just like, I can't believe I got to be the guy that shut the piano off and turned it back on.
That's brilliant. I
have so many stories like that, Carl. I need to have my own show.
That's why we're here, Tommy. This will be the late night hang with Tommy Byrnes. I love it. No, I mean, this is the hang, man. This is what I love, and hopefully that answered the question, Steven. I'm sure it answered many questions. It's a great.
Yeah.
I forgot about Steven.
I'm forgettable. I have buttons that make me forgettable.
What else you got there? Steven? Anything happening?
Steven's a nice guy, man. Come on, he's got some questions. He's like, Carl, let's make this deal. What? Huh? What do you got?
Noah's checking in, saying hello. Mandy Blumenthal, how's everybody doing? Lee.
I know Mandy.
Yeah.
Hi, Mandy.
Lee's checking in. Greg and Brenda checking in Missouri. Stacy Gilson's saying hello. Let's see. James Skitka's part of the regular crowd here chiming in. Had another question. Some of the questions I'm going to save till a little bit later because I know they line up with a couple of the things Carl's going to mention. But couple things. Melissa's saying, "Wish I was back at the Garden with everybody again. Hopefully, we'll be there soon." Marianne Stone.
That's Miss Melissa. I'm with you on that. Thank you for saying that because that's all. What we all want to do is get back to doing what we actually do, and I mean, what we do is kind of a bit over the top, but we'd like to do it as much as you'd like to come and enjoy it. For God's sake, that's it. Yeah. It's a horrible thing not to be able to do it at all.
Yeah. My wife keeps on asking me, goes, "Don't you have to go somewhere? Don't you have to do something? Like you're stuck with money."
To do with shows or money, Carl. Isn't there an apartment you need to go see?
Yeah, don't you have to go swimming with the sharks or something today?
Hey, let's see who else. Kenna Fisher is checking in, saying hello.
My wife's downstairs saying hello because Tommy's on. She loves her.
That's
Tommy.
right.
I love you. Can I get Donna to say hello? TJ, anybody say hello to Kenna? Donna, Kenna says hello.
Mary.
Hi, Kenna.
Says hello, Kenna.
Hi, Kenna.
Marianne Stone.
Donna's got a little thing in her knee, so she's gonna be a little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just I don't know what they call it. They call it something, but anyway.
Oh, gosh, well, our love.
I empty the dishwasher. That's what they call it.
Let's see here.
I'm in trouble for that one, right? Yeah.
Got Marianne Stone's chiming in. Amanda.
I'm Marianne. Marianne's got great pictures.
Yeah,
She's
definitely.
a great photographer.
Yeah.
We love her.
Yeah.
Another South Shore Long Island girl. I love the South Shore. I mean, and actually, we're talking about it too. You brought up Brian, with the Stray Cats, obviously, and the whole thing. It's funny how like Long Island kind of threads through your whole.
It's funny, Carl. So the last gig we did, I don't know if you remember. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, you're not.
But you're talking about Long Island stuff. Before you reach Leon Drucker, Lee Rocker from the Stray Cats.
Okay.
Was at the gig, right?
Oh,
so he called me like a week before, and he's like, "Tommy, let's come see it." I'm like, "Oh my God, really?" He goes,
Wow.
"Well, we expected to see you when the Cats played that place. What's that place that Barney went to, TJ?
Not the Beacon.
Some outdoor thing.
Oh, okay.
No, it was an outdoor show in the city, and yeah, that's
Center or something.
Was it, TJ? Pier 17, which I don't think is open anymore. I don't think nothing's open.
Yeah.
So, but she had gone to see somebody there, but and I didn't go see the Cats there. I wanted to, because I was in a band.
Sure.
And but I didn't want to. I know that it's difficult for local bands from Long Island to be back in that situation.
Absolutely.
I have to deal with oh my God, how many effing a-holes are going to come down to the gig tonight? But,
Can I get?
Lee came to the Garden, right?
That's
with
great.
with his wife Deb, and he goes, "We thought you were going to be there." I go, "Well, I didn't expect to be there, and I didn't expect you to be here because it's that whole." But he came to see us, and I brought him in to meet Billy, and it was wonderful to see him again. I had not seen probably for 35 years.
Wow.
It's hard to say that to people when you were in a band with somebody and they don't even get it, you know. What do you mean you didn't see him for 35 years? I mean, I ran into Brian, 10 years ago on 8th Avenue. And,
yeah.
I was on the phone, he was on the phone. It was in the winter. I put my phone down. I looked at him. I said, "You got to be kidding me." And he was like, "Oh my God." I said, "Right over here." We walked into a place called Serafina.
Sure. I love it.
And we sat there and we had lots of coffee. We'll just put it that way.
There you go. A nice coffee with a clutch.
Yeah. So I missed those days. It was a long time ago, Carl. When you think about how long we've been doing this stuff.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
It gets to be back there. My buddy Tony Bruno sent me a picture last night of me, Tommy Price, Kenny Aronson, and Joan Jett.
Oh, cool.
And that was the band that I played with after the Stormfront tour, before the River Dreams tour. I did a year with Joan Jett on a tour called Notorious for one of her records. And it was funny. And I was like, "Thank you, bro," because I don't have that many pictures from that tour.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We were all a mess then.
Yeah.
He got the gig after me, and I'm like, "I'm sure you remember." So it was,
wow. Amazing, though you're saying that, because you got 35 years with Setzer. I haven't played with him, and the whole Long Island contingent comes up because Joan being a South Shore Long Island girl. I used to play, and we talked about.
Carl, I didn't play with anybody who wasn't from Long Island.
It was hysterical, and like what was ironic was I was playing with Gary Setzer. Gary's, Brian's brother had a drummer, had like this rockabilly band, and so I was playing with Gary. What's that?
The Roustabouts.
Well, that was it. I don't even remember the name. That was the name of it.
Gary had a band called the Roustabouts. I played with them for a little while too.
Yeah, I remember. That's when I first met you. We were talking about that. It's like
we played with everybody.
Crazy.
All I know is that I worked from Tuesday till Sunday every week, and no matter who I played with, it was like there was a yes, and I screwed some things up every once in a while.
That happens.
I remember overbooking. You want to hear the first overbooking? I remember that I felt bad about.
Okay.
The first one
that you felt bad about.
Because usually, if it was a gig, it was a gig, right? If it was a real gig, it was a real gig. So I had. Del Judas got me on the phone and he thought I was going to play with them. This is 7 years ago. I was supposed to be with them evidently at Mulcahy's.
Okay.
It was at what's the place in up here? Town Crier. So I was up at Town Crier with Southside Johnny. It's 9 o'clock and we're just about to go on, and Mike calls me up and he goes, "Hey, bro."
Hey, bro.
You coming? I'm like, "Coming where?" "And who are you?" No, we had just met. It was very funny. And from then on, I got so many emails from Tom Cavalier.
Yeah. Mike Del Judas' manager.
"There's 3 gigs coming up this week. And you're on.
Be sure to show up.
Hotel, you're going." I was like, "If you don't send me an email, I ain't going."
Yeah, that happens, man. Especially
I love those guys, man. I love all those guys.
Good guys.
And Del Judas is probably one of the most talented guys I've ever freaking met in my life. Guy opens his mouth and you never know what's going to come out. Ooh.
Play anything.
He's a sick singer.
Yeah, no.
And you too, with your, aside from when his ass turns around.
Yeah.
That was hysterical.
Which one is that now? I lost you.
Oh, you never saw that?
No.
Oh, I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. I think I got it here. Go on, keep talking.
All right, so actually, Steven, I want to ask Steven a couple questions.
Yeah.
What's happening? So we have since we're on this Long Island team, we have anything? I know there's some Long Island friends on here. Do you have anything chiming in that we should hit locally?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's kind of a theme
Yeah,
here.
actually, Myrna is asking if you guys, what you guys think about, Long Island has obviously, produced so many great musicians. Why do you think that is?
proximity to the city, I think, Tommy. I mean, when I was a kid, and this was going to be one of my questions to Tommy. When I was a kid, if it wasn't happening on Long Island, you jump on a train, 38 minutes on the Babylon line. 38 minutes, I'd be at the Garden. I'd be on the bowels of the Garden, and I had a million places to go.
I'll give you these two moments, Carl. Right? So I got the gig with Taylor Dane at the Rock and Roll Cafe on Bleecker Street.
Okay.
Between Bleecker and Thompson, between Thompson and McDougal, or Thompson and whatever it was. Can't go down there anymore. A million years ago, I got the gig with Billy Joel at the Helm, across from the Helm in Freeport, playing the boat show.
My old bar.
So you want to talk about Long Island and getting the gigs there? When people say, "How'd you get this gig? How'd you get this gig?"
Yeah.
I was playing with a three-piece blues band at
the boat show.
At the Helm at the boat show, and when Ruggles came down, it just went. Ruggles. Now imagine Ruggles, 32. Hey, he's mine. I'm taking him.
There he is. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And he's got ears. Brian's got the biggest ears I think I ever heard.
Too. He was nervous, but now it's okay. It's been 30 years, so it's okay.
It's been 30. How many years now you been with Billy? Is it 30?
30 years, man. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
I think he owes me money too. I'm not sure. He doesn't watch this, does he?
Maybe on a rebroadcast.
But he's about
funny is
man. I'm not gonna blow smoke up his freaking platoon, whatever the fuck it is. But he's as good as it gets. There's nothing better than that. And his song said, I've been asked to comment on Billy's songs so many times, and it's a difficult thing to do if you're not him, or if you're not Paul McCartney or John Lennon or a great songwriter or something, And I consider myself a bit of a visionary when it comes to music, but when it comes to creating something from the get-go, it's like Billy knows how to do that shit, and. When he writes his fanfare for the common man, it's a song like Allentown, or it's a song like Downeaster Alexa, and these are these incredible moments of working man's moments. And when he writes a love song, it's Just the Way You Are, which gets covered by Sinatra and everybody else in the world, and you just go, well, I guess that was pretty good. Yeah. So I don't even think about that stuff. I understand why he doesn't necessarily want to put himself out there and do it anymore. I get that,
Sure.
It's very difficult because
very vulnerable too, because you put
those things come from
real places.
They come from pain. You're pounding, you're banging on the stone, you're banging on the marble, trying to see the face that you want to. I'm not sure how he looks at it, but I know I would not want to do that if I didn't have to.
Sure.
Simple. I mean, do I have respect for what he's done? Sure. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I have more respect for the fact that he stopped.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't. He knew,
his tank was empty.
Why would I keep doing this if I'm not so secure in doing it? I mean, and I think that I'll go there and say, as far as this with Billy, I think that all his loves, his daughters, his wife, they all deserve a love song. And nobody can write one better than him. But it's kind of difficult to write that many, So, so he might maybe one more. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in that position where the guy that you're married to and who's the husband of your children is responsible for some of the greatest love songs in the world.
Yeah.
It's and you're just going, well, they're just bringing back football.
Yeah.
I love him. I don't know how he's going to get around that one, but I wish him luck.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
He's a good dude, man, and you know that too. You know that he's a good dude.
I don't, and it's kind of our relationship too, Tommy. We don't talk much about music. It's about where we grew up. I have the commonality with fishing, boats, and motorcycles with Billy. You and I are just South Shore, Long Island morons, and we kind of have the same upbringing as far as, so there's a commonality between all of us.
What I really appreciated about you, Carl, was the relationship that you had with Gene, with Captain Gene.
God rest Gene's soul.
Yeah, what a great guy. I admired Gene. I thought Gene was such a smart man. The stories I heard about Gene were like ones that I wanted to forget about, like the stories that I heard about me. Like, no.
Yeah,
I loved hearing about Gene, and he was just one of those guys that you became so close to. And on his passing, when we were out in Montauk, I was out there with Donna, and I was like, Carl became so close with him, and it was wonderful because he taught Carl so much. Because whether Gene was a captain or not didn't matter. Gene was a captain. he was going to do it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And if he wasn't, he was going to tell you that he was, and figure it out.
Let's
go. And the stories were remarkable. I really loved that. And that's a guy to freaking remember. And I looked at Donna and I said, I didn't know why he meant so much to Carl, but he really did. And he taught Carl that when Carl wanted to really become a captain, drive a boat, Gene was there for him and was like everything you want to know. And the thing was that Gene, I don't know, was that sure of everything you were supposed to know.
Gene Pellin helped me out with that. That was in 2008. I got that.
Right. So who did he pay to get his fake diploma?
Exactly. It's funny. A couple talks I had.
I'm kidding. Like he just figured shit out. The dude was a genius.
He made it happen.
A natural born genius.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you, and it's the same thing.
Do that, that was, in the last couple of years, I've seen Billy incredibly pissed off at the deck that he was dealt. And one was when Gene died, and one was when Jeff Schock died.
Yeah, that's two beautiful people, man.
Yeah, and both times it was like, are you okay? No. And both times it was, no, I will be. No.
I still can't talk to Billy about either of those two. I'm sure you can't either.
All a part of everything you do, man. I haven't had that experience so much with I have a little bit, but not as much as the people I work with. Carl, you are now a newer member of the youngest in the class. See, I was always the youngest guy.
I beat you out
because when I joined bands, you were like in 8th grade.
I was 11 years old. Yeah.
In 1979, and I was on tour and I was doing stuff. And where were you? You were shitting your pants.
I still am. Excuse me.
That's understandable.
Been home too much.
Well, bro, like there were wonderful people there that the ones that maintained, or a lot of people just a lot of people in pain. You toured with a lot of people that were in pain, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure when you how about you when you were on tour with
Maynard. I remember talking. I was out with Maynard, and I'm going to interrupt you. I talked with Maynard, and one of the you sound like Chuck Man. One of the things I remember vividly was a conversation I had. I was subbing on Moving Out, which is Billy's show, and Tommy was the MD, and Barry was getting ready to leave. He was getting another show, and my name came up, and you recommended me, and wonderful John Scarpula, who I owe I have a lot of gratitude towards, because you and John were always proponents of me. And I remember being on the road and wanting to come back
You were
at
not
the time.
easy to propel.
I didn't want to leave the road, man. And, you know, it was funny because it was time for me to leave the road. And I remember saying, hey, man, the gig's here for you if you want it. The gig's yours. Come home if you want. He goes, it's here for you. And it was amazing because I changed my whole life, and I tried to settle down, and I played on Broadway for whatever couple years it was. And, you know, I was very happy. Barry Donnelly was the lead trumpet player at the time. He was leaving, and
Great guy. No, Barry, fantastic, right? Yeah.
Love
I don't know what Barry,
you know, so
what gig Barry went to, but Barry was a good first call on a lot of things. So something else was happening, or if we were coming coast to coast.
I didn't even know you before that.
That's the nicest thing I'm going to say. So maybe Barry got called away because there was something else happening. I love Barry. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
we both do. Yeah,
he's a great guy, and he was a well-rounded spiritual healer for a lot of us. And whether you took it one way or the other, it didn't fucking matter. But I liked Barry very much because he arranged his thought pattern to deal with me, and
not easy.
That wasn't something that came naturally. I love that dude, man. Who's better than Barry? Barry's a great dude, great trumpet player. You know,
wonderful. Yeah, great player. And, you know, but I remember, you know, the whole, again, it comes back to this Long Island thing, and it's just, it's very cool. So that being said, I'm going to hit you with something else, Mal. How did we talked about, you know, you playing piano after guitar. When did you get this producer, music director bug? Was it something that you voluntarily is like, I want to work on writing some originals or arrangements? Or I know because you've done a lot of producing, man, and you're great at it. So what was that move? Well, was it conscious?
No, Carl, I'll tell you. And it had everything to do with, I won't say being the smartest guy in the room. I'll say being the guy who understood everything that everybody else was playing.
Okay.
Or kind of understood where it all should go, or heard everything that was going this way or that way and should go this way or that way. Okay. And what do you think about if it goes this way? Where and having a direction already in your head. I always had that, you know. Really? I always just right or wrong, because you know we know music, right? One thing we know about music. There's no equation. It's the 2 + 2 never equals 4. It doesn't matter what you freaking think of what life is.
Doesn't matter.
The music is the great equalizer.
What makes you feel?
Nothing ever matters except it doesn't. I don't care if you went to Yale and studied music. It doesn't mean you're going to make more money than me next year.
No,
because you're probably going to be a teacher. Whatever, I don't care. And even what if you're a crappy teacher? Wouldn't that suck? So I'm a sucky music teacher at Yale.
How do you spell Yale?
I
don't know. Yale
6. So, I don't know. So you know, what was your question? I forgot.
No, just so it was going into the producer hat. That it just kind of came natural.
Look, that's just knowing what it should sound like more than somebody else. When you go in to record a song, right? You go in with a bunch of musicians. Now, suppose you wrote the song.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And you have a vision of the song as a writer, and I go in, but I know a little bit more about the recording technique or something about check out if the bass line goes this way against your melody, and I start talking to you about that. Okay. And I go, well, what about this? And then you know, like we're doing something, and you got and you go, I hate you, and you strangle me.
Perfect. Could happen. But I love you. It's a love strangle because I love you.
So, you know, all of a sudden I give you a hit.
Well, you a different.
I never want to see that guy again.
So different perspective.
Somebody went. And I went, well, no, that's not quite as good as
Yeah. Look, I'm strangling you.
the one that our mommies like. I love you, brother. I know.
Okay, so it's perspective really is.
Well, than the other guy. If you can wear the hat, man, put the hat on. But don't put the fucking hat on unless you want to wear it for the whole project. Because if you put the hat on, you're screwed. It's yours. And if it wins, you win. If it fails, which 99.9% of the time it does, you fail. But at least you knew more than them for that moment. Because they didn't even know how to make it fail. At least you knew how to make it flop.
You put yourself out there, and that's where I'm going with this. Every band I've had, whether it be my big band,
that makes me feel great.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Any band I've had, it's crazy. I know
my son is laughing at me somewhere in the background.
I would. I mean, come on. I'm on to you for 20 years, which is only not a long time, but
does that make sense? It does make sense.
It does make sense. No, it totally does, because you got to put it out there, and that's what I'm saying. Every band I've been in throughout the 20 years I've known you, you've come out. I see you do this when TJ does it and Bonnie does it. You guys come out, whether it be me, whether it be Michael, whether it be Dennis Delgadio, and you go out and check music out, and you give me suggestions, and you say, hey man, maybe you should, instead of this melody, try this, and different perspectives. And you know what? Not a lot of people do that, and that's the cool thing. That's the age of going out and being social. We don't have that now because of this whole pandemic, but man, that really got me thinking.
Well, how did you do that and get yelled at?
Oh yeah, I always get yelled at.
I get yelled at. I got yelled at every once in a while, but never by the boss, only by the players who didn't want to commit to well, maybe that's a good idea. It's like, maybe it's a good idea, or maybe one of you not going to be on the gig.
Yeah.
So you want to keep everybody hired. My whole thing was the greatest feeling I ever had in my life, and I've probably told you this as a friend.
I love this story. This is the best story.
The greatest part of my life is hiring a musician. If you can ever do, I'm not talking about, great. If you own a house and you want to hire a painter and life is rough and everybody's having a hard time, great. Hire a painter if you need the house painted. But I have the ability to hire a musician, and when I have the ability to hire a musician, I hire tons of them. And
keep everybody working.
It's amazing how well they get along.
I've heard that mantra from you for years, and it's the truth. And you're true to your word.
I tell that to you because if you're put in that position to hire a musician, hire one. You know that already.
Yeah. Keep everybody in the.
No, there's a musician out there somewhere that's going to need a gig, and then you can teach them how to fucking get online and do this stupid bullshit one day, But
I got a microphone.
Now, make them a better trumpet player.
Sure. Yeah. Or a better musician.
Or tell them not to play the trumpet at all if you have any kindness in your heart.
Yeah. Play trombone. Give me a trombone and a slap.
I have to be a nice guy. Don't play the trumpet.
The wrong instrument for you.
I miss you.
Yeah, no, we're having fun, man. I appreciate you being candid as always. Steven, we have anything off the track? I know I've been asking Tommy some questions. Anything happening over there? Did we lose everybody? Is everybody went to bed already?
No, everybody's still hanging here. You guys mentioned Tommy's time with Joan Jett earlier. Actually, we have Ed Sargent chiming in.
Remember Ed?
Well, that's your boy.
Yeah, well, Ed was my road manager for Maynard Ferguson for umpteenth years, and he was the road manager for Joan, and he still is operational.
People chiming in, had I known that this was actually going to be live. I don't know anything about what you do. I just said I would answer the phone call from you at 8:30.
See, I was surprised you.
Late.
Yep.
Expecting a big bottle of wine from you.
Oh, you're gonna get more than that. You're gonna get potatoes. I'm gonna see a potato wine. But we love Ed Sargent. Ed is still involved with Joan Jett, and went from the jazz world to the hard rock and Joan. And when Joan came up and played, you've hung with him, and he's one of our favorite people.
Ed's asking if you have any stories about your time with Joan.
Wait, okay, so hold on a second. I'm going to show you this. Tony Bruno. I'm going to make this work. Tony just sent me. Can you see this picture? Where I gotta go? Over there. Can you see that? Okay, there's me and Joan, Tommy Price, and Kenny Aronson.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Tony just great picture.
No, I mean Kenny Harrison. Yeah.
That picture last night, and I said thank you because I don't have a lot of pictures from that tour. In between the Stormfront tour, which went from '89 to '91, there was a Notorious tour with Joan that we did from '91 to '93, and then we picked up with Billy the River Dreams tour from '93 to '95. Anyway, that tour was incredibly fun. Joan was like the hardest rocker I ever knew.
Really?
She would sweat just like yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, and it would be like, I'm like, I love her. I love her. She's great. She was the greatest rhythm guitar player that ever lived.
Really?
She was Malcolm Young. She was dong 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 dong. She was fantastic.
Great, huh? Wow.
And I enjoyed that moment, and the girth of the band was me, Tommy Price, and Kenny Aronson, and good Lord, it was eighth notes galore.
Wow.
Dong, 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 dong.
I didn't know Kenny was on that gig with you. Wow.
It was few. We played them in every dump from here to Montana and back again. That was one of the most grueling tours.
Wow.
I've done, but I enjoyed it because we did 6 shows a week, right?
Wow.
And the days that we didn't do a show were mega travel days. But fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, Tommy and Kenny was such good friends of mine, and we were all like, 168 pounds of whistling steel, playing like, how much fun can you have?
I know.
And it seems like every town you went through.
Well, Laguna was there. It was Kenny Laguna, right?
Oh my God, you played with Joan Jett? Yes, I am. And I am a zombie and I will kill you. It was crazy. That's cool. I love Joan though. I love Joan. I learned a lot from her. I never saw stamina like that from up until that point, any man. I mean, she was absolutely stronger than anything I had ever seen on stage.
Of course.
Every night, she adored her fans, adored them, and would do anything for them.
Wow, well, that's great. Yeah. Man. Yeah, I remember when we reopened Nassau Coliseum. We closed Nassau Coliseum and reopened it with Billy.
But she came down, yeah.
Ed came and Kenny Laguna was there, and Joan came and played a couple tunes.
And what's his face?
It was a nice moment. What's that?
And Elliot.
Oh, Elliot, that's right. I
love Elliot. I forgot about that. I'm going to talk about that.
Kevin James and Leah Remini. That was a fun night. Kevin did it.
Leah Remini, yeah. Who doesn't love Leah Remini? Leah Remini and Elliot, they should go and fight in the parking lot or something.
I got my money on Leah. That was a fun night, though.
Fantastic.
The Long Island thing.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, that's great, man. Well, good. I'm glad Ed's here, man. Thanks for coming, Ed. Hopefully that
got another one here coming in from Mandy, asking if there's been any guests at a Billy show that you guys were actually starstruck by, and then also who was your favorite?
That's a good question, Mandy. Definitely for me, I get a little weak-kneed by anybody that I've learned from when I was a kid. It doesn't matter whether they're a mess.
Look at over your shoulder. You're looking at.
It's just a thing, So like Chick Corea came.
That was a fun night.
I was like, oh my God, returned to brother. Where have I known you before? I got to talk to you about that. He's like, it's not that important. Anybody like that. Yes, everyone that comes down and plays with us, I am absolutely starstruck by. Thank you, Mandy. There are some people that I like to consider myself friends with, so I have pictures of myself with them, like John Mayer and stuff like that. Now John Mayer's down there and I'm me, and I know everybody knows who John Mayer is, and I know nobody who knows who I am.
But you guys play off each other so well, bro.
It was crap. But the picture of John Mayer and me, that means something. So in that level, I am happy to have that picture of me with a star who means something to me, So yeah,
both you guys are guitar heads, and talk about Chainsaw, your guitar tech who we love. Both you guys are like coming out of this wonderful. No matter what you play, you're going to sound like yourselves, no matter what act you play. And I know John has a lot of that in his playing too, and it's amazing for me being a horn player, watching you work with a lot of different guys, especially guitar players that come in. The symbiogy that you had and the vibe you had with Mayer, not once but twice. I think you played 2 or 3 times with Mayer because it was Jay, the Garden, and someone else.
He's sitting over here with me, and the last time John came to the Garden and played with us, the 3 of us sat down, had dinner together, and everyone played. And 2 days later, he was out in a restaurant in New York City, met Cano.
Oh, did he?
Cano,
James Cano.
Hey, my buddy Tommy Byrnes, Billy Joel's guitar player. John Mayer goes, he's a very nice man. He's a very generous man with his guitar parts. And it was kind of what goes. He didn't know what else to say to me. I go, well, why'd you gotta go over there? Go with you.
Big old Cano, we love him.
No,
but you guys have a vibe together.
Cano's my brother.
He's great.
John Mayer's like, it's a dream to play with those guys. That's why there's a picture of me and him on my wall. That's why there's a picture of me and Davy Johnstone on my wall.
Love Davy, yeah.
But they're guys that I had a moment with and I had a part with. There's
means something.
Pictures of me with Joe Perry and stuff, and it was just like these are guys that I remember growing up listening to. And it doesn't matter what we played that night. It just mattered that. There was an avenue that we figured out how to get together on,
Came together.
Like somehow I got to get there.
Yep.
From a fucking kid in the driveway on Long Island in a garage band in Limbrook, figured out how to be on stage when Joe Perry showed up, or on stage at Shea Stadium to close the gig with Steven Tyler and play Walk This Way with you.
I know. Crazy, right?
And like, how do you figure that shit out? You don't figure that shit out.
I give props to 3 people. Someone upstairs is looking out, you're looking out, and the guy that his name's on the bill is, he has me there. So there's a lot of people looking after us, man. It's pretty amazing. Look,
let me tell you something, Carl. Billy's a good dude, man. And if you mind what you do and you're good at it, he would put a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing.
It's pretty amazing.
So it's not, So the great thing about having that responsibility is make sure it's a great thing with everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. Because then it's yes.
Inside joke.
Yeah, I got you and you got me. It's all good, man. We understood that from day one, didn't we?
Unbelievable, yeah, man. No, it's totally cool. So that's a cool question, man. Thanks, Mandy, for that question. We appreciate it.
What else you got?
We went all around the block, but we got there. What else you got?
Let's see. Rob you guys kind of already touched on it a little bit, but Rob is asking, how it was when you stepped into the role as Billy's music director. Did it take on a different life to the gig other than just being, a musician on the stage?
It did for everybody else in the band. Yeah, I guess it did. Well, here's what happened. It's a long time ago, so I guess I can tell you the story. It was an interesting story.
Back up, Tommy. I all I see is your nose.
That's fine. That's all you need to see.
So I love it though. I love it. I miss it.
I was actually in the bathroom, so I get a call from Max Lubier.
Tour manager.
Now we all know who Max is, right?
Tour manager for Billy Joel.
Well, he's Billy's dude. So, if you want to look into it, you find out who Max is. He's Billy's dude. And so Billy finds out that Elton has this guy named Davy Johnson, who had become a great friend of mine, who is the musical director of Elton's band. So Billy looks at Max, who's Billy's tour director, and says, "Well, I don't have a musical director. I would like a musical director." So Max goes, "Well, who do you want it to be?" So, Max calls me up, and I'm sitting on a bowl, and I'm handed it for. It's so many years ago, and the kids are young or whatever. So it's Max. I go, "All right, whatever. What?"
Hey, Tommy.
He needs music director. You want to be his music director? I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Well, if it's not you, it's going to be. And I'm like, okay, no, forget that. All right. So it'll be you. It might involve a slight pay increase, which just sounds like the guy from like Cool Hand Luke, right? What's your dirt doing in my hole? So anyway, so that was Max. It was wonderful.
Love him.
It's all great, Anyway, so that happened that way, and it went down because Billy just wanted one, because Elton had one. Because I want. So that was that, and it didn't involve much of anything except for the fact that I got the opportunity to try and keep people from killing each other inside the band when we crossed over the bridge to Crochet Stadium. And a lot of other people came into the band, and they were like, oh my God. So it was all good, but that was a very fun moment, and it didn't last long.
It lasted a long time.
It's like does Billy Joel need a musical director? No. Did he write all the chords? Yes. Did he write all the words? Yes. Did he write all the music? Pretty much. Does he need a musical director? Not so much. All he needs is a bunch of guys to do what happened already.
Yeah.
So
and to get along, and that's where you're really shining.
Get along. Guess what? Somebody's gonna fire you. I'll be happy to be that guy.
Yeah. Well,
if you're gonna ruin this, get the fuck out. That's easy.
Yep. And that was the common denominator I noticed.
I told you. I did tell a lot of people to get the fuck out. That's right.
Well, even in moving out, I mean, like guys that came in and subbed that didn't have the right attitude. I remember you saying, "Carl, never have that guy come again. Tell us don't have that guy come. Yeah, he might play good, but don't have him come because his attitude, his head was wrong. He didn't get along with people, and that's part of the gig, man. It's socially being and."
There were plenty of shows that could handle people that had bad attitudes because most of them did.
Yeah,
well, I really wanted our band to be spectacular and get along and be us, to be us like we've been friends for 15, 20 years or whatever.
Years, yeah.
I really wanted it to be that rather than anything else.
Sure. No, and I think it comes out in the music too, because a common thread we have on this feed every week, like people say, "Are you guys really having that much fun on a bandstand?" And I can't tell you how many times when we're coming back in a van from a gig or at the end of the gig, we're laughing like kids, man. It's not. It's
like the 20. It's our first month on tour.
Unbelievable.
We're talking about it like, well, I think we're really going to do something here.
We might be a professional.
So making a hit out of this.
Might have a career in this, Thomas.
Like, okay, picking up after a year down, and we're going for our 7th, 8th year on, and and you're looking at Billy and you're going, okay, man, and we're just happy to be along. I think it's got to be just as difficult for him to look at everybody else and go, yeah, those guys wait for me. I don't want anybody to wait for me. I want everybody to have their life and their thing. I wouldn't know what to do if I was him. I wouldn't know how to make that a reality. It's got to be hard, man. I know he takes such good care of and shit, but holy crap, what a reality to have to live.
Yeah,
there's a lot of us.
Over 60 of us. Yeah, I mean, he's such a mention.
And as much as we can appreciate everything he does for us, it's just like, he's assumed the responsibility and put that hat on. It's a long way to walk with a really heavy hat.
Yeah, and he wears it well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't necessarily feel bad for him.
Wouldn't want to be in his shoes though, but he handles it.
Hey, nice hat. Oh shit.
Yeah. You had your hat on earlier. You should have worn it. I liked it. It was the Steinways and Sons hat too.
I wear that all day.
So I got a question for you. We've been talking about music, and that's who we are. But you have Donna. You have a beautiful family. You raised T.J. is your son, and Bonnie, who's your beautiful daughter, and they're both. They're both a force. T.J. is a great musician and producer, and Bonnie sings and is an actress, and is just very, very on top.
Yeah, somehow they're all still living with me, Carl.
Well, they love you, Tommy. They love you. But how did that happen? I'm a musician. My dad was a musician. It was going bound to happen.
Let me tell you something. Something that
great. I love it.
I feel really bad about. Now, my daughter has an apartment, on the Midtown West, in the 50s, and shit, and she can't go there. It's awful. Right? She can't go there.
Yeah.
I won't let her go there.
Because you're a good father.
So she just pays rent on a place that she doesn't live in, but because she wants to keep it, because she loves it. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But it's dangerous, and now things are very different there.
Sure.
My son would love to have a life of his own and get the hell out. He was playing in bands up in Albany and in wedding bands and playing bass and doing shit and
great recording engineer,
day gig and shit, and that's all gone because you can't do that, So I go like, well, look. The only reason why I'm able to do what I can do is because I've been around longer.
Okay.
It's not because I'm any better at anything than you guys are. I've just been here doing it longer, so I managed to save a little bit more money.
Sure.
But sooner or later, we're all going to be out of this shit, So,
yeah.
They have their ideas of what they want to do, and I think it's good,
You support them. That's the cool. I've seen you support them.
I love having them around, because if it wasn't them hanging around, it'd just be me and Donna, and she would have killed me.
You've been out of the house a while ago. You had a machete in your neck.
I want to do with a pool, shove you in it, and put the cover on it.
Hey, Tommy, That's what you do. Time for you to go on the road. Those are happening. Aren't you going to go on the road? Ken is like, you got a gate to go to? Yeah, no, I know. It's crazy. But no, so it's great because I've seen them blossom because both you and Donna have been very supportive of what they do. And it's got to be hard because it's not one person. Everybody's dealing with the same thing. And it's not just musicians. It's the whole entertainment industry. Movies, everything. It's crazy. So, they got a good support system, and you did good by them, and I just want to let you know.
I think so.
Yeah, they're good kids.
Let's get the other guitar, tune it. We'll play you a song before you leave.
Oh, you guys will play? Cool.
We'll play you a song. Go get the other guitar because we can play together.
I wish I could. I can't play with you because of latency.
I'm not gonna sing. Yeah, you're gonna sing. No, I'm not. I'll sing with you. No.
See, I love this. All right, so while I'm getting it together, let's ask, is there any questions?
What do you got? Do you give a crap?
Hey, man, this is the hang. It's anything that can happen. That's why I love
No. Please don't make me, no, don't shake me, leave me where I am. Only sleeping. Well, maybe I'm only sleeping.
Oh, I love it. It's great. It's great that one thing.
Anywhere in time, you can't pick up your horn and it's pissing you off.
It's really pissing me off because I want to play. I mean, we talked about it, and I can't even, like, sentences are jumbled.
Does Billy watch this? I'll play songs Billy likes. I'm looking through you. Where did you go? I thought I knew you. What did I know? You don't need to defend, but you have changed. I'm looking through you. Turn off the same. Look at who he did that.
Oh, Tommy, man, what you see is what you get. I love it, and there's nothing that scares you. And man, it's just I miss you so much. It's
Are we there? No, we got time, right? Well, how much time we got? 5 minutes?
Whatever you want to do. I'm wide open. Let's field another question since you're working on some.
I'll take some more questions.
Yeah. That's a nice jazzy chord. It's a college chord you're playing there.
That was fancy, yeah.
No, I'll take questions. It's fine.
I want to play. I'm just like behind it.
Oh, I got time, buddy.
What's that?
We were in time right there. We were in time there. It was beautiful.
Was it? Hey, we're in time! Woohoo!
It sound like grown-ups.
Yeah. Oh, we got it right. I got the right chord. Oh my God! What do you got, Steven?
Jonathan is asking: is there any song in Billy's book that you guys would panic if you saw it on the set list because you guys haven't played it forever?
Oh God, there's tons of them.
A million of them, and it happens quite often.
But you know what? I can't tell you, Jonathan, because then Billy will put them in the set. You know.
Let's see.
I always get, I'm afraid to even mention them, but yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna play this. We haven't played it in 10 years. What?
Yeah.
But that makes you really. What are you playing? Is that Zanzibar?
Yeah.
Carl goes, "Ooh, wow, I can show off now."
I'd like to show off because I just wish I could hear it in time.
Yeah, that song doesn't scare me.
Nothing scares you.
Sit down.
Yeah, it's a half step down. Yeah, from the original.
Yeah. I know, because you don't want to play it in that key. We already discussed that.
I play it. I just won't play Freddie, so I'll play it. It's driving me nuts because I can't hear. It's driving me crazy. I mean, I'm hearing it like 2 seconds later. Can I try it?
I went down a half step and I stopped. Okay, bro.
Yeah, no, it's
not gonna be easy.
One day we're gonna be good, Tommy. I miss you, brother.
Oh, that's the day I quit.
Exactly. When you think you have it figured out, that's the day we need to get it done with. That's the day we're done.
Who you got? Who else you got? Anybody got any
I got
questions?
something from Noah.
Yeah.
Noah is asking if you remember the first song that you guys played with Billy when you first each joined the band.
Who's asking
Noah.
that?
Some guy named Noah, who's a regular. He's a good guy.
Oh.
First song with Billy. What was your first song with Billy, Tommy?
The first song I ever played with Billy was not with Billy.
Really?
That I can remember. The first song Billy song I ever played was with Mark Rivera.
Okay.
And
what was it?
then the first song I think we all played with Billy. Oh, I remember this. Do you remember, like, we walked into rehearsal, and it was like 2006 or something, right?
At the car dealership in Oyster Bay?
Yeah. And he was like,
oh yeah, Allentown.
So we played Allentown, and then Billy looked up. He goes, and we played the whole song. He goes, "You guys know every song as well as you know that one?" And we went, absolutely. We already been here for a week.
Yeah.
He goes, great. Let's go to lunch.
At lunch. And then you called me like 2 weeks into the rehearsals because we went to the bar. I'm going to tell this story because it's a great Tommy Byrnes story, and I got to tell it because you're here, and it's just a wonderful story. So we're finishing up Moving Out. It's the last month of Moving Out. It's in December. I'll never forget. And Tommy's like, we'd always have, at the end of the gig, we'd have go have to McHale's, which is a bar across the street. We'd go have a taste. And Tommy, he got really serious on me. He goes, listen, we're thinking about bringing up Zanzibar. We're rehearsing with Billy in Long Island. Would you be into coming down and playing it? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I thought you were, totally pulling my leg. I'm like, sure. So, he said, okay, I'll let you know when we're going to do it. I don't know when we're going to do it, blah, blah, blah. I waited a week or two. You told me the key. You called me the night before, like at midnight. I'll never forget this phone call. Hey, Carl. Yeah, we're doing Zanzibar. Show up tomorrow. But by the way, it's not going to be in probably a half step away or a full step. So I show up. So I play. The first thing I do is I go play Zanzibar in this horrible key that I'm not used to. It's not the original. And Billy gets off the piano and walks out of the room. I'm like, oh my God. I look at you and you got that grin that you have right now. This shit ass grin, like. I'm like, okay, I'm embarrassed. I'm done. And everybody's like saying, "Oh,
this should have been embarrassed. You came to a Billy Joel rehearsal with
the trumpet." I know it was your fault too. And then he comes back in and he goes, "Come on, let's do it again." I'm like, "We do it again." And he goes, "Wow, we sound like grown-ups." And I didn't. And I think you came over to me and you and Mark were like, man, that he's equating that to playing jazz. He loves Oscar Peterson, and he really digs playing jazz. And this is something that we haven't been able to do. And that was the first, my introduction.
Mark's much nicer than me.
What's that?
Mark's much nicer than me.
Yeah, that's why I love you. But, I seen Billy and met Billy many times, and he knew my name from Moving Out. So it was kind of crazy. Like I showed up and he got up and walked out, and then you were relentless. That's why I love you, because you just kind of tell it like it is. Like, all right, I think we're good. Let's try it again tomorrow. But after we played 3 songs, what'd we do for 2 weeks? We ate lunch.
Good thing, that fantastic.
I'm good at eating lunch. All right, so we're gonna do one more question, and then we're gonna let everybody get going.
You gotta have lunch. You gotta have lunch, Carl.
I like lunch. I specialize in lunch. Hey, Lunchbox, what do you got for a question, Lunchbox in Chicago?
I thought we were done.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scott Linzel.
Getting unruly.
Scott Linzel is chiming in saying hello. Asking if either one of you guys have taken on any new hobbies during the quarantine.
Tommy, what have you been doing?
Now, I cut my grass the same way everybody else does.
Sideways?
With my pants on.
Very good. I'm very proud of you.
No, I'm not really anything. I like to think that I would have used the time, made more value from it, but I find it hard to believe that all this stuff that I've been doing got done while I was always working. Because I'm always busy. There's always something to do. I'm always cutting the grass. I'm always cleaning the
gutters.
Fool. I'm not going to say what I'm always,
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm always busy,
I got you. That's cool. Well, I'm going to hit you with the one last question, and then we're going to close up. So first of all, man, it means a lot that you came on here, brother.
I thought, well, first of all, I want to say to you, I thought there was going to be like 12 of us on here, and I was going to be able to get up and we just take a leak every once in a while.
That's why we're leaving. I can see it in your eyes, Tommy.
I didn't know it was just going to be me and you, Carl.
And Steve. There you go.
Play with me because it's not in time. What do you got? Go on. Ask me one more question. No, you can't have my phone number or my address.
I want your address. I'm going to come to your house. No, really. So we hit a lot of things. It doesn't have to be about music. It could be anything on your mind right now. What excites you for the future? What do you have? What gets you going, man? What excites you right now?
What gets me going is probably the same thing that gets you going, bro. Is being able to be in the same room with you, Michael Judas, Crystal Talfero, Mark Rivera, Chuck Berge, Andy Sishan, Dave Rosenthal, Billy Joel, and play music again at Madison Square Garden. That excites me. If I left anybody out, you probably shouldn't be in the band.
Well, that's a great way to go, man. I appreciate you. Love you, man. Thank you so much. And I can't wait for that, too. That excites me, man.
I love you, too, bro.
Mr. Carl Fischer.